It's actually very easy. Okay, bet, yeah, or drop ones. Drop how y'all feeling today, because today's been a blessed day. I'm not gonna lie. Because I ain't gonna lie, today's been a blessed day. My dog just graduated, so I'm ready to teach y'all something real quick. It's not gonna be hard, and as long as you're taking notes and you're able to see and you're able to go, like if you're actually practicing back testing in the chart, I guarantee you it's gonna be easy. So I'm gonna share my screen. I am on my iPad, so so yeah, let's rock out. All right, bet. So let's go to actually somebody drop a pair in the chat. Drop a pair in the chat and we're gonna check it out. What's your favorite pair to trade? Talk to me. Let me know. Whatever the first pair I see, that's what I'm going to. I don't care what it is. You ready to leave? That's crazy. Gold. All right, that's a bet. All right, let's check our gold. USD. All right, let's check this out. I ain't gonna lie, me. Sometimes I like to clear my charts. Just if I'm looking at something just to see like what it is, because it just makes it a lot more clear to me. So for instance, so let's say we're looking at gold. Let's go to a lower time frame. Let's say, let's see, I'm gonna find a perfect example. So you'll be able to see it. And then as time goes, it'll make a lot more sense. So right here, so for gold, how I personally would draw this is if I'm looking at it, I'm gonna come from this top. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna draw a line down and I'm gonna connect this spot right here. Now this is pretty much about breakouts. Now the reason why I'm gonna draw right here is because this was the first spot. Because for a trend line, you need multiple touches. So what does this pretty much tell me? Hey, after I see this touch and I see a retracement, all right, that means what I should expect is prices when it gets to this point, it's either going to reject and come down or it's going to continue to buy. Now, what do we see here in this case? Price came and it smashed through this trend line. Now, if I keep it a buck with you, I probably wouldn't have entered so fast off of right here. This would have been a way more risky entry, which according to down here, if you look, if you've seen a lot of this price action, if we went down to a lower time frame, it would kind of maybe even gave you a couple signals on to enter. But let's just say we're being safe, reserved, and not doing none of that. I'm going to enter right here. Now, why am I going to enter right here? Is because this is the break and close. Because what you're going to notice is I'm going to show examples of false breakouts where you think is going to go, but in reality, it actually doesn't. So right here, we see, boom, we see the break. Now, once we see the close, now we're going to enter right here. We're going to enter. And now the fact that we entered, now, boom, we're in there. Now, our risk is not going to be as wild as you would think. If, boom, right here, I say we're going to take, now this is gold. So, gold move a little faster. So, you got to have a little bit of space for gold. So me, I would probably put it below this wick right here. Now, the reason why I would put it below there is because this had a lot of buying pressure. So what price could do is to correct itself and come down to this wick and then continue. So what I do is I put it a little bit below, just in case. And you realistically, you don't even have to put it this low. You can put it more close to where the trend line was, but that one, that's more risky. I'd rather make sure that, okay, I'm good and I can continue. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to look to see where the last high was. And we see the last high was over here. It was right here. I can't see your question. If you guys are dropping questions, I can't see them just because how it is. So once I finish the example, I'm going to go back to the other thing so I can see the questions after I'm done explaining. But what do we see right here? We want to check and we see boom. Now we're going to want to take it to this high. This would be our pretty much our exit area. If you want to figure out where you should exit a trade at, always know that the last high is going to be an area where the banks, the institutions are always going to target, just because that's where most people have buy stops in this case, because they think once it goes above here, it's going to continue to shoot. But what did it actually do over here? It ended up selling, which is another reason why you don't want to hold your positions forever. Now we see here, this is a 1-to-1, pretty much this is almost a 1-to-1 ratio. Now, this case, this would have been a little more of a risky trade. Now, unless you took it as if you put it right below the trend line and you're like, okay, well, I'd rather stick to my 1-to-2. And if nothing or if it comes back, okay, so be it. But if it doesn't, I've secured my 1-to-2. And what happened? As soon as you entered, you had pretty much little to no drawdown straight like that. And that's simply off of you drawing your trend line and you seeing the break. Now you might have said, why didn't I draw a trend line like this? Now the reason why, in reality, you could have drawn it right here too. And what do we see? We see boom, to come up, to come down, or pretty much the impulse, the correction. What do we see? We see a large wick. What does that tell us? That's a rejection wick. How do we know in the moment? You want to wait for the close. And what did this not do? It didn't close above the line. So what did it do again? It sold. Now, what do we see here? We seen a rejection, but what did the next candle do? It continued and it closed above. So if we entered here, what could we have done? We could have entered right here, which would have been a risky move, but it's above the line. It broke, so it's still valid. And what did price do? It immediately immediately moved away from the area. But what happened? What happened to the retracement? When resistance is broken, it becomes a support. Always remember that. When a resistance is broken, it is now considered a support. So now, what did price do? It wicked this line 2 times. So just strict price action, it gave us 2 areas to enter. And what happened? But we're not even going to take the best entry because trading is not perfect. So let's say we took that, we got it right there, and we're going to put it below the low. And the reason why we're going to put it below the low is because now that's allowing us to have the best chance. If price decides to come back down, then it shouldn't go below there. If it does, then pretty much we shouldn't be in the trade. But what are we going to do? We're going to look at the high. So what is this? Now we have our 1-to-3 trade to see, okay, how is this potentially going to go? Now let's look at it. So we're here, we're trading, boom. How many pips are we up? From our initial entry, we're up 130 pips. That's 130 pips of profit. Now, you have to ask yourself, are you the type of person, I'm going to wait until it hits TP? Or if I'm up 130 pips, am I going to take some off and then let the rest run? Move my stop losses to break even, or so on and so forth. Me, I know as time, what I've learned is when I'm up a certain amount, I'm going to take some off the trade with my stop loss to entry, so my position is safe. Now, the reason why is because you think, okay, price is going to continue to go up. What does it do? It ends up actually coming back down below. It ends up coming back down below. And what does it do? It ends up shooting up again. So what does that do? On a smaller time frame, what do? Or on a shorter time frame, what do? We ended up getting a pretty good risk to reward, even if we took it to this high. even though we would have wanted the high up there, if we would have taken it to the last high off rip, we would have taken it to about right there to right there. Again, this is a 1-to-1, but this is just an example showing you the worst possible entry. You got a 1-to-1 at least. Then over here, off of the bigger break, what did you get? You had a 1-to-3. Another 1-to-1 off of the worst possible entry, but in reality, you had a 1-to-3. So does anybody have any questions so far? Am I explaining things right? Is it making any sense? If it's not making sense, please let me know, because I'm going to show you examples of like how, okay, it would have went great. And then how examples where, you might have got finessed, where you think, oh, this is going to be it, but it ends up not. So if it's making sense, can we drop some ones? Let me know. Let me know. I like to teach. I like to make sure everything makes sense. So just let me know. Yeah, please make sure you're asking questions. And because I'm gonna come back and check I'm gonna check the chat all the time. Let's go. Let's look at something else. Let's say we're right here. So let's say I'm right here. I'm drawing the trend line. I go from the bottom and I drag it up, and I'm seeing, boom, it's getting all these touches. It's continuing to get all of these touches. Now, what am I going to do? I'm going to look and see, all right, every time it comes here, it's bouncing off. But once I start to see that, hey, it's starting to close below this line, what is it doing? It's losing momentum. So what does that tell me? It's closing below. Even if you didn't take the first closure, like this seems a little bit too close, a little too scary. What am I going to do? I'm going to take the second one. What can I do? I'm drawing a short position right here. And again, let's take the worst position possible. Boom. We'll take that. And we'll put it above this high because we're not expecting it to go above there again. Now, I can take it below this low because this is considered a major low before it went back up, or the goal would want to take it to there. Now, what is that? That's a 1-to-4. Into here would be a pretty much another, or about, I'll give it a 1-to-2. I'll say about pretty much a 1-to-1, 1-to-2, depending how low you wanted to take it. So we'll say about to right here's a 1-to-2. After the break, what do we see? We see, boom, if we just take it to that low, we have our 1-to-2. But let's say we want to hit the 1-to-4. So let's see how this responds. So let's see. Okay. So we actually ended up getting, in total, we ended up getting down to all the way to almost a 1-to-3. Now, by that point, you should have been pretty much taking things off of your trade. You should have already secured most of your percentage. But you have to make sure that you understand that not every trade is going to go to TP right away. So this is, for instance, if you use a stop loss, because I know some people don't actually use a stop loss. You just have an area on where, okay, this is where I would exit. So let's say, boom, you didn't, let's say in this case, you did use a stop loss. It would have came really close to your entry, or my bad, to your stop loss. It might have even hit it. Might have hit it too, but you already secured profits from before. If you understand and you take notes and practice securing profits, then you would be straight. But when you see it come up here and it declines, or it rejects this area, you can't enter again as it's going down. The trade is still valid. So now let's see where it goes. Our ultimate target was right there. And why was that our ultimate target? Because what did it target? This major low right here. Why is this a major low? Is because after this impulse, it came down, and this was the last low before it made a major impulse up. So we would have wanted to target this because what would this have made most people think? Oh, well, when price gets down here, oh, it's going to sell. It's going to sell. And that's exactly what the banks want you to think. So once they seen that happen and it gets below here, if we re-entered, okay, boom, we've secured our 1 to 4. Let's say we might have not re-entered and we just left our trade going. Then boom, our trade has hit our total take profit, and now we are out. We're out of the trade. Let's see if there's any questions, because I know there might be. Okay, can you show like you are marking up a clear chart as if you're looking for a set of like walkthrough? I overthink when I, okay, yeah, I got you. So well, I'm gonna look at GJ because somebody said GJ. Yep, GJ. Let's go to GJ. GBP, JPY.
And I wanted to know, bro, I'm really probably just gonna kind of reiterate everything you're doing because you basically really teaching price action too. Same thing I was gonna do. So shit, you can honestly just keep going what you're going with.
All right, bet. That ain't no problem. All right, bet. So let's look at GJ. So okay. So let's say, so for instance, so me, let's say I'm looking at GJ. Oh snap! I did not mean to do that. Let's say I'm looking at GJ. I'm looking at it right here. Now, if I'm looking at it right here, what I'm gonna do is I like to draw trend lines on the top and the bottom. Typically, sometimes what I'll do is I'll draw a trend line on the top and the bottom because I like to see what are the thoughts that are going through everybody's mind, and then I'll draw one at the bottom.
Hey, bro, I got a question.
What's up?
Damn, that's you. Just hold on. I'm gonna hit you. I'm gonna let you know when I come back to America.
All right, now you good. Just let me know.
My fault, bro.
Now you good. So I like to draw from the top and the bottom, because what this kind of allows you to do is it kind of tells you, all right, well, what am I thinking? How should I be thinking? Now I see, okay, price is kind of staying within these two areas. Now you're not necessarily always going to know, okay, oh, price is going to come back to this line exactly. Because sometimes it might not, like how right here, boom, is not coming down to this point. But in this case, it did. So you kind of, I like to draw it to see, okay, well, what are people thinking? Now, as I go through it, and I'm seeing price action. And what do I do as time goes? I just extend the lines straight like that. Same thing, as pretty much extending the lines. Now, once I'm starting to see price go above this line and it's starting to move up, even if it's moving up slowly, once it breaks and it closes above, it's still giving me an opportunity to buy. Now, let's look. It closed here, came down, came back in. So I would have been me. I ain't gonna lie. I would have probably entered, and I just would have, once it came down, I would have been like, damn, let's see what it's about to do. But because in reality, where would my stop have been? Or let's say close it, boom, right here. We entered off of this candle. My stop would have been down here. So it would have been a 50 pip stop. But when looking over here, where would my take profit would have been? Right here, at least. This would have wanted to be the minimum, at least these highs. Because what that does is it's pretty much telling the banks, because when people think it gets up here, is going to continue to buy. And that's how the banks want us to think. They think once it gets to that point, but all it's doing is just pairing buy stops with sell stops. Or not sell stops, but it's giving them pretty much people to sell to, which is why once it hits right there, which this is a 1 to 2, so this is a valid trade. Pretty much you're risking 50 to make, pretty much 50 to make 100. And even if you wanted to be an even tighter stop, a scarier stop, that's 30. You would have got a 1 to 3. But me personally, I would have probably had either two positions, or I would have just had one and had a stop there. And what do we see? Price literally just goes off of it and it buys up. Now, what does it do when it gets to that point? It rejects, not necessarily rejects, but it retraces. It made its decision. It was consolidating for a while back and forth. It came, it hit the high that was over there that I spoke about. Then what did it do? It retraced, and then it continued again. So that's how you're able to even catch. Now look, if I literally just extended the line from over here, what did that end up doing? It really did give me another point to enter if I really wanted to. And as I just extend the line and I just keep extending it, it's still giving me points of entries on where I would have wanted to enter. Right here, this could have been another area to enter. Would I have been a little scared over here, right here? Absolutely. I probably would have been to hold a trade that long, I would have been honestly probably out. If I would have re-entered here, I would have entered again. And why? Let's look. I come here. Let's just say, all right, I'm seeing that it's bouncing around. I'm seeing it sell, go below, go above, below, above, and above again. Now I'm kind of like, okay, it might pretty much be bad, or I'm pretty sure this retracement might be over. But of course, you want to look in your check, like make sure you understand, okay, this is why I'm entering, and I'm not just going off of what I think. But I'm seeing, boom, it's bouncing off of this area. I enter again. Now I'm able to get multiple entries on one trade idea. And as an overall, you're able to catch a lot bigger moves when you understand how price is moving in the zone that it's in. So let me see if there's any questions. Okay, no questions. So does this example actually make sense? Y'all can say either yes, no, makes no sense, I'm confused.
Yeah, that makes sense, bro.
Okay, bet. I'll do one more because I don't want to really take up too much time. Or I'll do NOS 100 just to do an indice. Let me get rid of this. Let's get rid of these. So for instance, like NOS, this tends to do this a lot. So what it'll do, let's go to a lower time frame actually. Let's go on the past. So let's do this. Let's say we're right here. Let's say I'm drawing the trend line and I'm drawing it. My bad, I did not connect it. I'm drawing, well, if I go here, but we're gonna just start from over here. So we'll start from right there and I draw a trend line. Now I'm gonna draw one on the bottom too. And I want you to pay attention to the one on the bottom too, because it does something that you really would, or that a lot of people would have gotten faked out on. And the reason why I say they would have gotten faked out on is because I want you to look. It bounces down, comes up, makes a high, makes a high up here and a low. So that's what would have gave me these two lines to even start in the beginning. Even right here, what would have happened? I came up, came down. Once price would have started to drop below this line, a lot of people would have thought to sell. They would have said, oh, it's selling, I'm about to go down. So they would have sold. But what did price do? It caused a fake out. And then boom, what did price do? It shot up. What did it do here again? It bought all the way up. So what would have happened? All of us would have been buying thinking, oh, we done caught the beginning of a breakout, so on and so forth. How do I know? Because this has happened to me plenty of times before, where I'm thinking, oh, I done caught it, I'm not waiting. Then boom, now I'm upset. Now I'm down 20 points in NOS, wondering, damn, why did I buy? Then it comes back down. Then I see a candle like this, where boom, it sells, or it comes back up, and now boom, it sells again. And I'm thinking, oh damn, I done folded. It's back in the zone. I just got played. If I would have just waited, so on and so forth. And then what finally happens? Boom, price skyrockets and it shoots up. But you wouldn't have known that unless you would have been patient and waited. Even if you didn't get the entry all the way down here, you still could have got an entry up here. Let's say right there. Let's say you put it like below the line. And we're going to look to the left and see where's the closest high. Right there is is one of the closest highs. Overall, the highest high would be for us to want to touch up here. But if we're wanting to just grow our account and secure our profits, that's going to be the high that we're going to want to take. So what are we going to do? Put our take profit right there. What does it do? It wicks it. Now let's continue to look. What does price do? Price, you see, after it hits the high, it starts to act a little different. It retraces back, comes back to this area, comes back again. What is it? Now what does price do? As we move along, what does it do? Now it takes out the high that's right here. It literally came back to entry, came and took out this high. So if we wanted to, we can continue to have entries that just take out the high. Each high does it, comes back, we take it, so on and so forth. But we see how it doesn't come back to entry before taking out these highs. And then what do we see again? It comes back to entry again around this general area. And then what happens? It comes up, but it doesn't necessarily take out the highs. So once you're starting to see a lot of this rejection up here, boom, you're seeing more red candles, you're seeing a lot of wicks to the upside. You should be looking to close most of your position, all of your position, or honestly, by this point, you should have been out in the trade. You should have hit your daily goal by then. Because that move right there, this just one candle, these two candles combined, I say, that's 115 points. So that's 1,015 pips. Straight up, 115. Like, if you drop the 0.01, that's $115. Pop the 0.10, that's about 1,000. You done hit over a band that day, so on and so forth. So you have to understand, like, not everything has to hit TP if your target is already met. You don't want to be greedy. That's literally what I've been learning. That's been my learning curve, is having to understand you don't have to catch the whole move. Just like I was saying, this is the goal that we would want, but in reality, in trading sense, it's not always going to go up here. In a perfect world, absolutely, we're going to hit that lick every time. But in reality, that last high, that significant high, which in this case on the 15-minute time frame is right here. But what did it do? It just hit it exactly. Or I would say not exactly, but it came right to this point and retraced. So does anybody have any questions? I ain't gonna hold much longer. Of course, if y'all got questions, you can just shoot me a text. Just text in the chat and I can send my number. But does anybody have any questions before I pass it to Dre?
I ain't even gonna lie, bro. You just summed every damn thing up, dog. Like, I mean, unless they really got questions on price action, that was really it. Cause I mean, you honestly summed it up like all together. Really, which I mean, to y'all that really don't know price action is really just technical analysis. So like support and resistance, trend lines, double tops, double bottoms, same stuff that we're really going over, but it's basically in a sense showing just what Jalen just basically showed you, as far as like entry, exits, how to catch a trade, and different things like that. In a sense, price action is really just, it's bringing all of those things together without having to use like super extra indicators. Just like if you look at like most of my charts now, you'll very rarely see a whole bunch of, crazy indicators. So like mainly support and resistance, order blocks, trend lines, different things of that nature. You'll basically see me like trading with that if you ever look at my chart. But does anybody have any final questions, any final things they want to say, anything like that? Honestly, wouldn't try to hold y'all that long.
I don't, but Dre, man, I need you to help me out with that thing.
What, bro?
This is all sweet, bro. With the that KOT5, not KOT5, but the MT5.
Bro, I told you what to do. I've been texting you.
I don't even see that junk though.
But that's because that was I text you and told you to do.
Yeah.
I
forgot. My
text
fault. Yeah, you
I
did
text
say
you and
that.
told you what to do.
You said I ain't in the United States no more. I'm tripping.
Yo.
All right, bet. Appreciate you, man.
But if that's it, then we pretty much done for the night. Check the group chat because it is something in there for y'all to do. And that's about it. So we'll holler at y'all tomorrow for tomorrow's stream.
Hey, Jalen, you can drop your chat, your number in the chat, your contact, little junk.
Ask
whatever questions you got in the chat, just so everybody can have it.
Yeah. So yeah, just text in the chat, and then just text in the chat, and I'll respond to it.
All right.
All right.